Well, this gentleman here that I got coming up next, I can't say enough about him. We met each other about 10, 12 years ago, and we've been instant friends ever since. And watching where you've been to now what you are is it's a wonderful, inspiring story. And I want you to share this with everybody. My friends, my brother, Mr. Aldo Ryan.
Hey guys, how are you? John, thank you so much for having me. Big Daddy, I love you, brother. In fact, I did a little something special for you really quickly. I'm just letting you know I'm wearing my shirt right here, Big Daddy.
Oh! Look at that.
I wore that at the office all day today. I flew home to make sure that I can do this because I haven't eaten since breakfast, but it's an honor to be on here and share some educational wealth with everybody. Guys, there's so much to talk about. I was honestly thinking about this, that, and the other thing. I know that we spoke last week when I was in Florida, and I was like saying to myself, I know that we talked about a particular topic, and then I'm thinking about what else we can talk about that can help people to accelerate them or put them on the fast track or catapult them to a different area that can really benefit them in their business and their lifestyle. And then I started vacillating between what topics I wanted to talk about. And then I'm saying to myself, man, I can't believe how indecisive I am right now. And I was like, wait a minute, that's it. I'm going to talk about decisiveness, decisions, making executive decisions and making sure that you take those decisions and bring them to the finish line with nothing less than a smiling success. So I know that it did come to me, by the way, that we were going to talk about our communications here at Alive events, and how communications are so important to stay on top of your client and be proactive and stay ahead of the game so that your client's never behind the eight ball and you're not rushing and you're not going crazy, because once you're live on air, you want to, it's showtime. Let's go. But then I started to say, you know what? I think decisions is so important, because I was caught up in that as I'm, inching onto this webcast.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I think this would be a lot more valuable to the watchers, to the listeners, and to the learning minds here. So one thing that I learned a long time ago, and I hope that's okay with you guys, Big Daddy and John, that I'm
this is great. Go. You go with it. I love that. Love the topic.
Existential. There was something I don't get to watch a lot of TV or a lot of series. I wish I did. I'm starting to make more time these days to kind of do some fun things with my family and catch up on series and movies and things that make me laugh and make me feel like a kid. Just, take me out of this world of work and allows me to be in different dimensions. One of the shows I used to watch was The Sopranos, okay? And in The Sopranos, there was this one particular phrase that I took with me over, 15 years ago. And, Tony Soprano said that more harm is done by indecision than bad decision. And at the time, I was, I was still kind of fresh in the business and whatnot. I've been doing this 25 years. So my math may be a little off on how long ago that was. I was thinking it was over 20 years ago, actually. And I said to myself, I don't know if I can really understand that fully, but one day I will. And you know what? That day came about when I started to run my own business. And I needed to start making executive decisions, not just on behalf of myself and my family, but on behalf of my clients as well. One of the things I think it's important to understand is that when clients, prospects, people interested in your services, when they reach out to you, one of the things that they're doing is they're not just reaching out to you for a possible service or a product. They're reaching out to you for your best decisions. And that is really contingent on your technical experience. It's contingent on all the different scenarios that you've come across, the things that have worked for you in the past, the things that have not worked for you in the past. Other people's mistakes, other people's successes. One of the greatest things that I've learned to do when I met with Big Daddy those 10 to 12 years ago is I started to do continuing education. I started to come to DJ conferences, seminars, lectures, workshops, and these things really allowed me to fast track and catapult myself into an area where I got to learn from other mentors. I learned from their mistakes. I learned from their successes, as I mentioned. And I love the fact that helped me to make better decisions, not only in my company, but also in my family, and also for the people who are trusting in me for their biggest days ever. their life events, their children's life events. And so I said, you know what, this is the topic I want to kind of settle on. I want to talk about. It's also some sagacious advice that I offer to other friends and family members. You know, when, you know, we all have that relative or that friend who is just, you know, hitting on bad times, on hard times, time and time again, and you find yourself constantly just volunteering some advice and suggestions. You know, you want to help them. That's the goodness of your heart. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I find that my clients, they've hit a stump. They've come up to a challenge. They're not sure exactly what to do, how to build their event, how to start, where to go. And you know what? It's your choice. It's your time to go ahead, step in and say, you know what? This is what I do. This is what I love. And based on past decisions that other people have made, based on what I've done in the past, my experiences, I'm going to tell you right now that this is what's going to help you bring this event to the finish line. And it's going to yield the best possible results. So, you know, I think being a husband, being a father has helped me tremendously to be on the personal side of this whole thing as well. I understand what it's like to enjoy a father-daughter dance, to enjoy holding your wife in your hands and just swaying around and being tunnel vision into her eyes, and sharing that first dance. Enjoy listening to a mother give a speech, a heartfelt speech to her children, or her newly married children and in-laws. I think it's amazing that when you are personally in the world of family, right, and you understand what it is to have relationships, then you're able to also offer better advice and suggestions, and again, help them make better decisions on what route they should be going, how they should plan their event, what festivities or formalities they should be incorporating into their wedding or their bat mitzvah, their sweet 16, their corporate family function, whatever it is. You know, you're able to help them to decide what's going to be best for the success of their event. Sometimes the venue or the event planner or the coordinator has a particular schedule, okay? And I'm going to be very careful how I proceed with this particular thing because
yes,
I understand that they have a plan. They have a series of different things outside of the realm of entertainment that they need to incorporate and they need to consider for this special event. But typically, you know, clients, what they do is they hire us as DJ entertainment, live band entertainment, to move the night with energy, with fun, with happiness, with jumping and dancing and screaming and sweating and cheering and all that good stuff. So we look at things in an entertainment's perspective. And sometimes there's a hiccup in the timeline. And, you know, you have to be able to come up to that point and say, you know what, the food is coming out a little bit earlier or it's coming out a bit later. These formalities still need to be taken care of. The cake has to come on out and so on and so forth. You know, but things were delayed. Things were being fast forwarded. Things needed to be pushed up ahead so that we can accommodate. And it's up to you to be able to say, well, what's going to offer a better flow of events? And then you have to decide, you know what? Did they have enough dance time yet? Had they had enough relaxed time? Did they get to catch up? Did they get to really enjoy each other's company enough so that it's time to start off that dance floor and just get this party going, spark the fire and fuel it with music? These are all things that take place, and you have to be able to make these decisions on the fly. These decisions really come down to your technical experience, to your, your personal experience, your know-how, how you would run, you know, for instance, something in your family, if you're planning a vacation or a surprise birthday party, you know, you start to take these things into consideration and apply them immediately on your major events, your big events that people have literally spent all their time, effort, energy, blood, sweat, and tears on. I'll tell you this really quick story. You know, it's well, there's a lot of stories, but I'm going to stick with one particularly because I have a lot to say, and I know that we're limited on time. You know, when it comes to a bar mitzvah, okay, or bat mitzvah, something that I'm kind of starting to kind of weave myself off of, just I'm taking a step back. I'm having my other guys, my young, fresh, crazy, excited guys and whatnot, get on in there and do this. One of the things I teach them is that, you know, when you have a staff of people that are at this event, one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that they're all focused in on what's about to happen. You want to make sure that they are engaged in what's going on and focusing so that just in case something changes or something should happen, you can jump in and you can move or transition them from one series of events to the next seamlessly. That's a decision-making process. It's a proactive process. It's not a reactive process. And it's important that people, clients, especially when they come to me, they understand that when they're hiring me, they're not just hiring music, they're hiring someone that's going to be able to make executive decisions and move things forward, move things on, hold things back, slow things down accordingly so that we meet or we catch up with that timeline. It is so super important to take those things into consideration. Your kid is my kid that day. Okay, true story, right? On a bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, sweet 16, your kid is my kid that day. Your parents are my parents when it comes to speeches and things like that. I'm taking this stuff extra seriously because I want to make sure that everything works perfectly. It flows smoothly. Your wife is your wife that day, but you get the point. You know what I mean? No, but again, just understanding what's going on at any given time and being able to change the sails or adjust the flaps on the plane and just make sure that we can move things along as easily as possible. It really comes down to the master of ceremonies or the DJ on the event that day. And with that, executive decisions are so super important that when you accept the responsibility to take on this type of event, you should be qualified enough with training, proper training, experiential training, mentors, and of course, experience in doing types of events where, you may have made mistakes in the beginning and whatnot, but as long as you learn from them, you're going to be able to be a major asset and an amazing value to this family or all of these guests that came to celebrate this amazing day. So executive decisions, making sure that you can make a decision on the spot, anytime, every time. And even if you make a bad decision, you can always go ahead, sleight of hand. That's what magicians do. They go ahead and they distract you at some capacity, and they bring you to the positive attention. They go ahead and they're able to make on the fly changes immediately, and they're making decisions so that you don't even realize that a mistake may have happened. It's decisions, and you are at the helm of it. So get yourself prepared to make great decisions. Put yourself in scenarios so that you never have to get caught off guard or with your pants down, unless you're into that stuff.
Outstanding.
Although I want to just take about a minute or so to talk about you talked about making big decisions, and of course there's decisions for the family, there's for our business, and for all the things we're doing. The importance of taking responsibility when you're at that top dog and you're making those big decisions, those executive decisions. There's responsibility that goes with it, which you did allude to. But sometimes when the decision was not the right decision to make, you still become the man or the leader, the executive. How do you handle those times when the decision, in hindsight, wasn't the right one? How do you take that responsibility?
Great question. Being able to bring up a couple scenarios helps with that tremendously, but you need to take responsibility and accountability, obviously, right? You're at the helm, you're at the wheel. I think of it like flying a plane. You kind of made a bad turn and you ran into some turbulence. Well, there's a way to navigate or negotiate yourself out of that easily without jolting the plane and going down a few hundred feet within a few seconds and having everybody lose their breath and have their heart skip a beat. It's important to understand, number one, what your timeline was. What were the do's and don'ts of this event? Understand what were the most important things that were supposed to take place at this event. And after a while, just like anything else, muscle memory, by speaking a different language, by being able to ride a unicycle, your body is able, or your mind's able to adjust appropriately and say, you know what, this decision was made and this is now happening and we're on the air. So now how can I go ahead and incorporate other things that would flow perfectly into this to segue into the next dance set or segue into the next series of events, not just make it feel like a stop and go jerk a scenario where it's going to, again, disrupt the flow of events. Remember, you have 200 souls on board, meaning 200 people at your wedding. You want to make sure that you find the fastest, easiest, and most comfortable way to move yourself into the next series of events, without making it seem like there was a mistake.
Sure.
And that mistake may be on part of the client, maybe on part of the venue, maybe on part of the event coordinator, the event planner, the day of, whoever it is. Your job as the master of ceremonies or the DJ, the front man, your job is to go ahead and soften that blow, make decisions so that you can go ahead and save face for everybody out there.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Aldo, I can't thank you enough. I know you've been on the road and everywhere else. I cannot thank you enough. You know what I want you to do right now?
What's
Go
that?
hang with the family and eat, would you?
Get something to eat.
Oh, man, dude, I'm loving it.
Are we going to eat or are we going to starve? My friend, I thank you so very much. My friends, again, follow these people. Watch what these guys do, these ladies and gentlemen do. Absolutely amazing. My friends, once again, my dear friend and brother, Aldo Ryan.
Thank you so much, guys. John, Sean, great to see you guys. Big Daddy, I love you, brother.